name is Saradasarita, aka Sasa. I'm 32 and I'm from Holland, the Netherlands. 10 years now, yeah, officially 10. Actually through Archie came to Europe, and I had a few dancers that I knew from the club that got in contact with him, and that's how we got to know whacking, yeah.
Who is your teacher?
We started alone, so actually the girlfriend of a guy who was really, met Archie, became friends, and she wanted to start something in Holland, so she started a Femmetal, which is a female crew inspired by whacking and Vogue. So we were training ourselves. We were actually the first in Holland, so nobody was doing whacking. So we were practicing with each other, and then I wanted to learn more because I felt like it's very difficult. It was also 10 years ago. We didn't have everybody traveling and battles and workshops and teachers coming overseas. You know, like when Archie came, it was for Funkenstyle, so it was one of the main events in Germany. We didn't have so many events, so we didn't have the chance to learn from everybody. And I'm not a huge fan of learning from YouTube. I really like feeling it. So I applied for a scholarship to study in New York, and I received a scholarship, and then I studied there. And I would say Archie and Brian Green. He was actually subbing for Princess Lacroix because she was away. So I was taking a lot of classes with him, and he's just an amazing dancer. So he also really taught me a lot about coordination and drills, and Archie really is like the inspirator and like our whacking father in our country. Who else? Of course, Tyrone in 2011 was my first class with him before I was studying in New York, and that also really opened my eyes. So yeah, I mean, I think all the OGs and all, you know, Victor Manuel, Dallas, Shabadoo, Anna Sanchez, they're all our teachers, you know, in the sense of even though we don't maybe not got to train, like I met Anna Sanchez, Archie brought us once there and we jammed with her in the club. That was like amazing, but didn't get the chance to really dance with her, but we look up to them in their videos and in their teachings and in their inspirations. So I would say all of them, everybody, and also a bit of that time, you know, the people who were upcoming, like Canada, they had Aihao already, you know, and in Japan you had Joshi, so like Wakisha and Nene, Kumari, Princess Lacroix, Oz, all of them were, all the whackers. It was not so much yet. Now you have, but then it was like a good group of people, and they all inspired me and us, yeah. Yeah, I grew up in a dancer's music family, and I studied performing arts. That was all dance styles, from ballet to tap to hip hop to jazz to contemporary, yeah, everything. I think there's a lot of elements. If I would say it very simple, it would be technique, musicality, and performance. Performance is also very wide. It's the feeling, it's the connection, it's the presentation. but also the style, you know, your personal style. So, but it would be simply those three, but it's more, of course, it's more complicated. It's nuances, you know. I think also like how you dress also influence how you dance, and it should also fit your personality or the character. So if you choose to dress very feminine, you start dancing masculine, it's a choice, you know, like you have to be aware of those nuances. I think the best performances are when those things come together, you know, when the music and the feeling and the technique and everything is like, that's when it's magic, you know. So much. Yeah, it's emotional. Whacking was my first dance I learned as a freestyle dance. So it was the first dance that I learned as a technique to freestyle. Like I learned hip hop or popping or locking, which are freestyle dance, but I didn't learn it in a freestyle way. I learned like more technique and choreo. And whacking was the first dance that I learned like as a freestyle dance. Whacking was also the first place, because in my country, you know, like they like it very normal. Like we have a saying, be normal, then you're crazy enough. And I was always different, you know. I'm very expressive and with my hands and when I speak, and everybody was always like, oh, you're different. And even with performing arts, in my education, they would say like, oh, it's too much. So I always had to tone myself down, and that made me also a bit like shy. I felt a bit oppressed that I never fit in. And whacking was the first dance where it was, oh, this is where you're allowed to be expressive and extrovert and different and emotional, that you're allowed to show emotions. It's also means a lot to me because it was also the first dance where I really start understanding what my feminine energy is. What is this power that you have as a woman? Not like how we see now, you know, like women, boobs, ass, you know? It was like that classic, like just the shoulder or, you know, just the ankle, a little bit of skin, and that style, that classiness of that time. I love that. Like that's also how the men, they're so gentlemen. And I love this element as well. And when I started this 10 years ago, so I was 22. And that's also when you're getting to know yourself like as a woman. And it really gave me also, it allowed me to be feminine. Because I was already dancing, attracted to the urban underground scene because of the freedom. So I was doing performing arts, and even there it was very, and I was always like, oh, I love the club, I love the hip hop, I love the message, peace, love, unity. Like I was really into like this society. I didn't like the way society sometimes puts us in boxes. I never felt like, oh, I'm just gonna get married, have a kid, have a job, and go to school, and like, it's not for me. So I was always attracted to this, and then, but in the scene it was very masculine energy, like even like always aggressive energy. And when you're a woman, it doesn't match with that energy. And whacking was the first dance where it's feminine energy is celebrated, and that was so powerful to me because I'm like, oh, I can be sensual, and it's for me. It's not for the men. Men think that we want to be sensual for them. We don't. Or that I want to dress up for you. I don't want to dress up for you. I want to dress up for me because I want to feel good. And you know why people don't want us to do this? Because they know it's powerful. They know this is a power and they want to take it away from us. So that's why this was like, oh yes, this is it. And even till today, when I'm in a room full of like breakers or very masculine dancers, it's a fight to stay in this whacking energy, like feminine and be soft and not always have to be like, but also you can change things just by being a woman. Yeah, whacking means a lot to me. I have so much to share. It is really a very powerful dance that it really gives you so much in life. I love the history of dance when it comes to the not institutionalized dance. So institutionalized in a sense, like a lot of people still believe that the origin of dance is a ballet, which is not, of course, true because every culture has its own dance. And I love the dance styles that come from either the social aspect, like club or street, but also the cultural dances, I think, are very powerful. I think ballet, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for ballet. It's beautiful, and I grew up with ballet, and my mom loved ballet. We always went to ballet, and I even worked with the National Ballet. Like, I have so much respect for their skill. But I don't think it's the base of every dance. You know, it's not the base of every dance. And so for me, there's a lot of inspiration. But when it comes to whacking, of course, they are the ones who paved the way for us, which, you know, they're all the OGs that I mentioned. With whacking, it's Shabadoo, Ana Sanchez, Dallas, Victor Manuel. And then people like Archie, Tyrone Proctor, of course. People like Archie, who also learned the dance from Ana Sanchez and Tyrone and passed it on. And Brian Green, who also was inspiring people to, he was also the one who said, like, whacking has to come back, you know? Or like Yoshi in her country, or the people in this country to begin. Like, everybody has their, everybody who was part of that journey is an inspiration to us, because we wouldn't be doing it without them. And then, of course, also the generation after, you know, like, for me, I like the Canadian chapter of how they were kind of one of the first I got to know. Kumari, yeah, these are the people. And my sisters from Natali, they inspired me. And I also love, like, the old school Nicholas brothers, like Cab Calloway. Because you see, for me, that's also a bit of the inspiration of them, you know? Like, they looked at the movies, like the old school movies and the dance, and that's also inspiration. Most important thing in dancing, I would say, to find a balance between it's an art form because of its expression and its emotion, and it should be respected as a sport because of the physicality and the skill. And I think it's always like finding the balance between the two. So I think as a dancer, it's a very good training of both sides of yourself, to be disciplined, but also learn how to be free. So I think that's a very important thing to play with, that balance. And my advice would be, really find yourself in it. I really started dancing because it was something that, I didn't start dancing but I wanted to be professional and only dance because you get the chance to be busy with you instead of like working a job and be with a computer, or working like I also played piano when I was young, but it's still outside of you, and dance is all you. It's body, mind, soul. So this is a very if you can dance, it's such an opportunity and such a blessing that you're able to do this. So you have to be grateful that you're able to dance and use that to become a better person. Yeah, I would say that. Be the best that you can be. Be the best dancer, but also be a good person, you know? So use the dance to learn life, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.